Her past is not my responsibility. My phone buzzed while I was reviewing blueprints for a custom kitchen renovation in Malibu. The name flashing across the screen made me pause for exactly 3 seconds before I set down my measuring tape and grabbed the device. 14 months. That's how long it had been since I'd heard anything from her. 14 months since Brooke stood in what used to be our living room and informed me that she needed to discover her true self, and that being married to me was preventing her from experiencing what life really had to offer. I can still hear her exact phrasing. I need space to discover who I am without being defined as someone's wife. I looked directly at her that afternoon and responded with a single word. Okay. She was expecting waterworks, probably some begging, some kind of dramatic scene that would validate her importance, make her feel needed and missed. Instead, I contacted my attorney Charles Bennett first thing the following morning. The divorce papers were finalized within 4 months of her walking out. When she signed those documents, she had this confused expression on her face, like she'd been anticipating that I would fight to keep her. I didn't fight. I simply moved forward with my life. Now, after all this silence, here was her message lighting up my screen. Having coffee with a friend. I read those words twice. Then I typed back, ask him if his wife liked it. The response was immediate silence. No angry comeback, no clarification, no nothing. I locked my phone and returned to calculating square footage for Italian marble countertops. She fired off 3 additional messages over the next hour. I didn't bother opening any of them. That coffee comment hit exactly where I intended it to. See, Brooke always thought she was the smartest person in the room, marketing executive for a high-end fashion brand, always talking about consumer psychology and market positioning. But she never could read the room when it came to actual human behavior. The thing about being married to someone for 6 years is you learn their patterns. Brooke's pattern was simple. When she felt guilty about something, she'd casually mention it in passing, like she was just sharing innocent information. Having coffee with a friend wasn't an update. It was a confession wrapped in casual clothing. My response told her I knew exactly what kind of friend she was having coffee with. And more importantly, it told her I didn't care. 2 weeks later, I was in my design studio reviewing fabric samples when the doorbell chimed. I checked the clock on the wall. 3 doors in the afternoon. I wasn't expecting any clients. I'll get it, Jordan called out from the drafting table where she was working on elevation drawings for a penthouse renovation. She was wearing her hair pulled back, completely focused on getting the proportions perfect for a client presentation. I heard the front door swing open, followed by complete silence. The kind of heavy silence that makes your skin prickle. Can I help you? Jordan's voice carried through the studio, polite but unmistakably firm. I set down my color swatches and headed toward the entrance. I already had a pretty good idea who was standing there before I even saw her. Brooke was on the doorstep, her mouth hanging slightly open, staring at Jordan like she'd just witnessed something impossible. She was gripping a small suitcase in her hand, apparently under the impression that she could just move herself back in. Her eyes traveled from Jordan's face down to the professional clothes she had on, to the architectural plans she was holding, then slowly back up to her face. All the color drained out of her cheeks. You, she managed to say, her voice barely rising above a whisper. What are you doing here? Jordan didn't even flinch. I live here. Can I help you with something? That's when Brooke's gaze found me standing in the hallway, right behind Jordan. The initial shock on her face shifted into something else entirely. Betrayal, maybe anger, complete disbelief. Are you kidding me right now? She said, her voice climbing several decibels. Her? You're with her. I walked up beside Jordan and placed my hand on her shoulder. Is there something you need? I sent you messages, she said, completely ignoring what I just asked. Did you even read them? I read the first one, I replied. And you didn't respond? That coffee comment was completely inappropriate. Didn't seem necessary to respond. And inappropriate? You texted your ex-husband about having coffee with another man. What exactly did you expect me to say? She let out a laugh, but it came out all wrong, bitter and sharp. You moved her in, Jordan, of all people. You know how I felt about her? Jordan crossed her arms over her chest. Actually, I never knew how you felt because you smiled in my face and talked behind my back. That's called being two-faced, not having feelings. Here's the thing about Jordan that Brooke never understood. 6 years ago, when Jordan first started working at Henderson and Associates architecture firm, Brooke was doing marketing for their luxury division. Brooke was always dressed sharp, always making absolutely sure that everyone knew she was climbing the corporate ladder. Jordan worked in interior design, quiet and efficient, never making a fuss about her projects. She had this way of listening to clients that made them feel heard, then delivering exactly what they didn't know they wanted. Brooke used to complain about her all the time, said Jordan was too friendly with the male contractors, said she dressed down on purpose to seem more relatable to blue-collar workers, said she was fake and putting on an act. What Brooke called fake, I eventually learned, was just Jordan being a genuine person. Brooke's face went bright red. "This is unbelievable. I leave for 14 months to work on myself and you just replaced me with someone from my own industry." "Your industry?" I said. "You quit that marketing job 10 months ago, and you didn't leave to work on yourself. You left to see if you could do better. Turns out you couldn't. So now you're back, but the position's been filled." She looked back and forth between the two of us, her eyes starting to water. "We were married for 6 years. That means nothing to you?" "It meant something," I said. "Right up until you said it didn't. You made your choice. I made mine. That's how it works." "I made a mistake," she said, her voice cracking now. "People make mistakes. You're supposed to forgive mistakes in a marriage." Jordan cleared her throat. "You don't have a marriage anymore? You divorced him, remember? You can't quit your job and then show up a year later expecting your desk to still be empty." Brooke glared directly at her. "Nobody asked you." "You're standing at my door," Jordan said calmly. "In my house. So, yeah, you kinda did ask me." "Your house?" Brooke's eyes snapped back to me. "You moved into her house?" "It's our house," I corrected. "We bought it together 6 months ago." The suitcase slipped from her fingers and hit the porch with a heavy thud. She stared at me like I'd physically slapped her across the face. 6 months? You've been together for 6 months?" "Actually, 10 months, I corrected her. "We kept it private while we were getting the business up and running. Didn't want to complicate things unnecessarily." "Business?" she repeated slowly. "Jordan and I are partners in several ways," I said. "Austin Caldridge Interior Design. We specialize in luxury residential projects." The timeline was simple, really. After the divorce finalized 4 months after she left, I ran into Jordan at a building supply warehouse, completely by chance. She was picking up materials for a side project she had going. Turned out she'd been designing custom furniture in her spare time. We got to talking about wood grain, joint construction, the satisfaction that comes from creating something beautiful with your own hands. She mentioned she was thinking about leaving Henderson and Associates to start her own design firm, but wasn't sure she could manage it all alone. I told her I'd been thinking about expanding my custom carpentry work into full interior design for a while now. 3 conversations later, we had sketched out a business plan. 2 months after that, we had a studio up and running. 4 months after the studio opened its doors, I realized I was spending more time thinking about her than the business itself. I asked her to dinner. She said yes. It went from there naturally. Brooke shook her head back and forth slowly. "This is insane. You're throwing away everything we built for someone you barely know." "I know her better in 10 months than I knew you in 6 years, I said. "And we didn't build anything together. I built. You criticized the blue-collar work while you chased your marketing dreams. There's a difference." She just stood there opening and closing her mouth repeatedly, like she wanted to say something but couldn't locate the words. Finally, she pointed an accusatory finger at Jordan. "She's not better than me." Jordan smiled, but it definitely wasn't friendly. "I don't need to be better than you. I just need to be present. That seems to be enough." Brooke picked up her suitcase, her hands visibly shaking. "You're going to regret this?" "I regret a lot of things," I said. "Marrying someone who saw me as a backup plan is definitely one of them. But this?" I gestured between Jordan and myself. "This isn't something I'll regret." She turned to walk away, then stopped mid-stride and looked back over her shoulder. "When this falls apart, don't come looking for me." "Wouldn't dream of it," I said. We stood there and watched her walk to her car, throw the suitcase into the back seat, and drive away. The tires squealed slightly as she peeled out. Jordan closed the door and leaned back against it, releasing a long breath. "Well," she said, "that was awkward?" I started laughing. I couldn't help myself. The entire situation was completely absurd. She brought a suitcase, I said between laughs. She genuinely thought she could just move back in. Jordan shook her head, smiling. The look on her face when she saw me answer the door was priceless. I almost felt bad. Almost. You handled that perfectly. Years of dealing with her fake friendliness in the design community prepared me well. She pushed off from the door and headed back toward the studio. Come on, the client presentation is in 2 hours. I followed behind her, pulling out my phone. There were 6 more messages from Brooke waiting for me. I deleted them without reading a single one and blocked the number. Some doors, once they're closed, should stay that way. The next morning, Brooke sent 12 more messages from different numbers. I knew this because Jordan was counting them while we were having breakfast together in our kitchen. She's persistent, Jordan said, scrolling through the notifications that kept popping up on my phone sitting on the counter. I'll give her that. Persistence isn't a virtue when you're chasing something that's already gone, I said, pouring coffee into my mug. Jordan handed me the phone. You should probably read them just in case she says something important. I unlocked it and skimmed through the messages. They went from apologetic to angry to desperate, then cycled back to apologetic again. The last one said she'd be back to talk in person because we owed each other that much. She thinks she's coming back, I said. Let her try, Jordan said, taking a bite of toast. I'll answer the door again. You know what the crazy part is? I said, setting my phone face down on the counter. She never actually asked if I was happy. Jordan nodded. That's because in her mind, you were supposed to be miserable. She can't imagine that you moved on because that would mean she wasn't as important as she thought she was. She called you a replacement, I said. I know, Jordan said. I was standing right there. She smiled. But I'm not a replacement. I'm an upgrade. I laughed. You're not wrong about that. My phone buzzed yet again. This time it was an actual call. I let it ring all the way through to voicemail. How long do you think she'll keep this up? Jordan asked. Until she realizes I'm serious. Could be a while. She's stubborn. So are you. Difference is I'm stubborn about things that matter. She's stubborn about being right. The voicemail notification popped up. I played it on speaker so Jordan could hear. Brooke's voice came through shaky and emotional. That coffee comment was cruel, Austin. You knew exactly what you were implying. I know you're angry with me, but we were together for 6 years. You can't just erase that. Everyone deserves a second chance. Call me back, please. Jordan raised an eyebrow. She's still focused on the coffee comment? I deleted the voicemail. She wants closure on her terms. She wants me to sit there and listen while she explains why leaving was actually my fault somehow. And then she wants me to forgive her so she can feel better about herself. Are you going to give her that? No. Good, Jordan said, standing up and starting to clear the dishes. Because that woman doesn't deserve another second of your time. Through the kitchen window, I saw a car pull up and park directly across the street. Brooke's car. You've got to be kidding me, I muttered. Jordan looked out the window. Is she just sitting there? Looks like it. We watched for a full minute. She was staring directly at the house, phone in her hand. This is borderline stalking, Jordan said. My phone buzzed with another message. I'm outside. Come talk to me. 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking. I typed back quickly. No, leave or I'm calling the police. I saw her read the message through the window. Her face completely changed. She started typing something, stopped, deleted it, typed again. Another message came through. You wouldn't do that. We have history. I called the non-emergency police line. Hi, I need to report someone parked outside my house who won't leave after being asked. No threats, just refusing to go. The address is... Through the window, I saw Brooke's eyes go wide. She started her car immediately and pulled away fast enough to leave rubber marks on the pavement. I hung up before the dispatcher could transfer me anywhere. Problem solved, Jordan said. You didn't actually report her. Didn't need to. She doesn't know that. Jordan laughed and kissed my cheek. See, you're learning. Sometimes the threat is enough. Learning from the best, I said. Don't let that phrase become a habit, she teased. But I'll allow it this once. The rest of the morning was quiet. No messages, no calls, no cars parked suspiciously outside. Around noon, I got a text from an unknown number. You've changed. The man I married would never treat me like this. I showed Jordan. She's right, Jordan said. You have changed. You grew a backbone. I blocked the number and went back to work. The man she married would have felt guilty, would have doubted himself, would have wondered if maybe he was being too harsh. But that man was gone. He disappeared the exact moment she walked out the door 14 months ago. This version of me knew better. This version understood that respect isn't automatic, loyalty isn't negotiable, and second chances are earned, not demanded. And this version was perfectly happy with how things had turned out. 3 weeks passed without any contact whatsoever. I thought maybe she'd finally accepted the situation and moved on with her life. I was wrong. Thursday afternoon, Jordan and I were at our studio, going over proposals for a new luxury development, when someone walked through the front door. I looked up from the computer and felt my jaw tighten automatically. Brooke stood there in a business suit, hair styled perfectly, looking like she was about to negotiate a corporate merger. She scanned the space slowly, taking in the design boards, the fabric samples, the professional setup where Jordan and I worked side by side. "So, this is it," she said. "Your big venture?" Jordan stood up slowly. "We're by appointment only. I'm not here for design services." Brooke's eyes landed squarely on me. "I'm here to talk to my husband." "Ex-husband," I corrected, not bothering to stand up. "And we have nothing to discuss." She walked closer, completely ignoring Jordan. "I deserve an explanation. You owe me that much after 6 years of marriage." "I don't owe you anything," I said. "You got your explanation 14 months ago when I said okay to the divorce. That was the conversation." "That wasn't a conversation. That was you giving up." I leaned back in my chair. "No, that was me respecting your decision. You wanted out." I opened the door. "You're the one who's confused about what happened." She glanced at Jordan, then back to me. "Can we talk privately?" "No. This is between us." "There is no us," I said flatly. "There's me and Jordan. You're just someone who used to be around." Her composure cracked slightly. "How can you be so cold? We shared a life together." "You ended that life. I started a new one. That's how time works." Jordan moved to stand beside me, arms crossed. "You need to leave. You're trespassing." Brooke finally acknowledged her presence. "This is between him and me. You're just the rebound." "Rebound?" Jordan laughed, but it wasn't friendly. "Honey, a rebound is temporary. I'm permanent. There's a difference." "You think you know him?" "I was with him for 6 years." "And you learned nothing," Jordan said. "Because if you knew him at all, you'd know he doesn't respond to manipulation. He doesn't do drama, and he definitely doesn't reward people who abandon him." Brooke's face flushed bright red. "I didn't abandon him. I needed space to grow." "You needed space to see if you could trade up," I said flatly. "Let's be honest about what happened. You thought you found something better. It didn't work out. Now you're back because you're realizing what you gave up. But that's not my problem." "We could have worked through things," she said, her voice getting higher. "Couples go through rough patches," I said. "Rough patches involve arguments about budgets or design choices, not one person leaving for over a year to go live their best life without the other person. That's not a rough patch. That's a breakup." She pointed at Jordan. "Her, she's perfect. She never makes mistakes." "I make plenty of mistakes," Jordan said calmly. "But walking away from someone I love isn't one of them." Brooke's eyes watered. "I came back. That should count for something." "It doesn't," I said. "You coming back just proves you made a bad decision. It doesn't erase the fact that you made it." "So that's it? You're just done after everything?" "I was done the day you left. You're just catching up." She wiped her eyes, smearing her mascara slightly. "When did you become this person? You used to be kind." "I still am kind," I said. "Just not to you. That privilege expired when you walked out." Jordan stepped forward. "You need to go now before this becomes an actual problem." Brooke looked between us, her expression shifting from hurt to angry. "You two deserve each other. Both of you are cold and heartless." "Maybe," Jordan said. "Or maybe we just don't have patience for people who treat relationships like rental cars. You can't return them when something shinier catches your eye." Brooke grabbed her purse tighter. "You know what? Fine. Have your little life together. See how long it lasts when she realizes who you actually are." "She knows exactly who I am," I said. "That's the difference. You spent 6 years trying to change me into someone else. Jordan likes me the way I am." "That's because she doesn't know you like I do." Jordan smiled. I know he wakes up early to make coffee before I'm up. I know he hums when he's working on something complicated. I know he remembers small details about conversations from weeks ago. I know he's loyal to people who deserve it. So, yeah, I know him. Maybe better than you ever did." Brooke had no response to that. She stood there for a moment, mouth slightly open, then turned toward the door. She stopped halfway and looked back. "I hope you know what you're giving up." "I do," I said. "Someone who made me feel like I was never enough. Best decision I ever made was letting that go." She left without another word. The door closed behind her with a soft click. Jordan let out a breath and sat back down. "She's not going to stop, is she?" "Probably not yet. She still thinks she can." "Wear me down? Can she?" I reached over and took Jordan's hand. "Not even close. I'm exactly where I want to be." Jordan squeezed my hand. "Good answer." My phone buzzed on the desk. Another message from a different unknown number. "You'll regret this. Mark my words." I showed Jordan. "Mark her words," Jordan said. "Who even talks like that?" "Someone who watches too many soap operas," I said, blocking the number. "How many phones does she have?" "Apparently several. Doesn't matter. She can't text you if you keep blocking her." "What if she shows up again?" "Then we call the police for real this time. 3 strikes and she's out." 2 months went by with nothing. No messages, no calls, no surprise visits. I thought maybe she'd finally gotten the message and accepted reality. Then came the Industry Expo. Jordan and I were presenting our latest project, a complete renovation of a historic mansion. When I spotted a familiar face in the crowd, Brooke was standing near the back, arms crossed, watching our presentation with an expression I couldn't quite read. When we finished, people came up to ask questions about our work. Several potential clients exchanged business cards with us. It was going perfectly. That's when Brooke decided to make her move. "Excuse me," she said loudly, stepping forward from the crowd. "I have a question about business partnerships." The moderator smiled. "Of course. Please go ahead. How do you handle the ethics of starting a business with someone while you're still married to someone else?" The room went completely quiet. Every head turned toward us. "I'm sorry?" the moderator said, clearly confused. "It's just that some of us in the industry remember when Mr. Caldridge was married to someone else. The timeline seems a bit convenient." Jordan stepped up to the microphone. "Actually, Austin was divorced 6 months before we started dating, and our business partnership began 4 months after that. But thanks for the question." "But you knew each other while he was married," Brooke pressed. "You worked in the same industry circles. Knowing someone professionally and developing a personal relationship are completely different things," I said into the microphone, which anyone in business would understand. A few people in the audience laughed nervously. Someone called out, "Tell us about the design process." But Brooke wasn't done. "I just think people should know the whole story before they—" "Ma'am," the moderator interrupted firmly. "If you have questions about interior design, we're happy to answer them. If you're here for personal reasons, you'll need to leave." Brooke's face went bright red. She looked around the room at all the faces staring at her, realized she'd humiliated herself in front of the entire local design community, and walked out. The audience actually applauded. Later, in the parking lot, Jordan shook her head. She really thought that would work. She thought she could embarrass us into... What? Getting back together? I laughed. All she did was make herself look unstable in front of potential clients. "Speaking of which," Jordan said, holding up a stack of business cards, "we just booked 3 new projects." My phone buzzed. One last message from yet another unknown number. "I embarrassed myself today. I know that. But you embarrassed me first when you moved on so fast. We're even now." I showed Jordan, then deleted and blocked the number without responding. "You know what?" Jordan said. "I don't think she's coming back after this." "Me neither." "Good, because I'm tired of her drama." "So am I." We drove home together. Our home, our business, our life. Whatever Brooke was dealing with now, it wasn't my problem anymore, and that felt absolutely perfect. 6 months passed without a single incident. No messages, no calls, no surprise appearances anywhere. Life went back to normal, better than normal. The business expanded. We opened a second location. Jordan and I moved into a house we designed ourselves from the ground up. Then a wedding invitation arrived in the mail. Brooke's wedding invitation. I stared at it for a moment, then handed it to Jordan. "She's getting married," Jordan said, "to someone named Richard. Good for her. Are you going?" I took the invitation back and walked to the kitchen trash can. "Nope." I dropped it in and closed the lid. "That's it?" Jordan asked. "No curiosity, no wondering what if." I pulled her close and kissed her forehead. "The only what if I care about is what if I had never met you, and I never want to find out the answer to that." Jordan smiled. "That's the right answer." "I know." My phone didn't buzz. There were no messages waiting, no drama, no chaos, no manipulation. Just peace, just happiness. Just the life I'd built with someone who actually wanted to be in it. The coffee comment that started this whole mess seemed like a lifetime ago. Such a simple response to such a loaded message. But it had set the tone for everything that followed. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When they tell you what they want, listen. When they walk away from you, let them go. Brooke wanted to discover herself without being defined as someone's wife. She got exactly what she asked for. She discovered that she was someone who made impulsive decisions based on fantasy rather than reality. She discovered that the grass wasn't actually greener on the other side. She discovered that some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. I discovered something too. I discovered that I was stronger than I thought, that I could build something better than what I'd lost, that the right person would see value in what I had to offer, instead of constantly pointing out what was missing. Jordan walked over and wrapped her arms around me from behind. "Penny, for your thoughts. Just thinking about how different things could have been. Better or worse. If Brooke had never left, you and I never would have happened. And that would have been a tragedy," Jordan said. "Agreed." I turned around in her arms. "You know what the funniest part is?" "What?" "She spent 14 months trying to find herself, and the whole time, I was right here, becoming exactly who I was supposed to be." Jordan laughed. "And now she gets to live with the consequences of walking away from that. While we get to live with the benefits of her decision. Seems fair to me." My phone sat silent on the counter. No unknown numbers, no desperate messages, no threats or promises or attempts at manipulation. Brooke had finally moved on with her life, and I was genuinely happy for her. Not because I cared about her happiness, but because her moving on meant she was finally leaving mine alone. The coffee comment had been about calling out the obvious. She was having coffee with someone who wasn't just a friend, the kind of friend whose wife might have opinions about his coffee dates with married women. I'd known exactly what I was saying, and I'd known exactly how she'd take it. What I hadn't known was that it would be the last message I'd ever need to send her. Sometimes the perfect response isn't about saying the right thing. It's about saying the thing that makes it clear you're done playing games. Ask him if his wife liked it. Wasn't just a comeback. It was a declaration of independence, a statement that I saw through the performance and wasn't interested in participating. It was the moment I stopped being someone who got left behind and started being someone who moved forward. And 14 months later, as I stood in the kitchen of the house Jordan and I had designed together, surrounded by the life we'd built from scratch, I realized it was the best text message I'd ever sent. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is let someone know you understand exactly who they are, and then let them live with that knowledge.